Hey, this is Hans. It's time to light it up with the Ramen Raiders Top 10 Spiciest Instant Noodles of All Time, 2015 edition. All right, let's burn this sucker up. Number 10 is from a Chinese company called Wugu Dao Chang, and this is their Szechuan pepper and chicken flavor instant noodle. This one comes in a bowl. It's a stir noodle, so what you do is you drain off the water after it steeps, and then you stir everything into it. Now, what's unique about this one, what makes it so freaking hot, is that it comes with a little sachet of peanuts, and actually it's not little, it's a good amount of like peanuts and these Szechuan peppers. And you sprinkle them on top. Well, this stuff has so many peppers in it that when you eat it, the heat just builds and builds and builds. I've seen instant noodles that have peppers come with it, but not to this amount. And it was pretty fascinating to actually see how many there were. It was a very hard plate of noodles to finish, and they were really quite good. Unfortunately, you're only going to be able to find these if you go to mainland China. They don't export them out of China. So unless you can order them directly from the company, I don't know, but good stuff. Number 9, Nongshim Jinja Jinja. Now this has been one that's been on a lot of my top 10 lists until last year. And what happened is they stopped making it. And now it's back. So, hey. It's hot, it's spicy. In fact, when they marketed it here in the US, because they stopped, I still think they don't make it for here in the US. They've got it in South Korea though. But when they had it here, it was called Flamin' Hot Nutty Instant Noodles. So it was hot, and it had a little sprinkle of nut, kind of like powdered nut, like peanut, a little pork flavor, and black sesame. It was good stuff. I really liked it, but it went away. So, but now it's back. So, ultra hot. Number 8 is Jinmei Liang Emperor Instant Noodles Spicy Chicken from China. Now, this is another one that has these Szechuan peppers. Now, the Szechuan pepper is a little bit different than, I guess, a regular chili pepper. It kind of had this heat that if you eat like something minty and then you inhale, you feel this coolness on your palate. When you eat these Szechuan peppers, you get this heat, but when you inhale, you kind of get a coolness, I noticed. So it's a different kind of sensation with Szechuan peppers, so something different. And this one came with like just a big, huge sachet full of crushed Szechuan pepper. So hot, very hot. Number 7, Emart with their Daeryu Habanero Jampong from South Korea. Jampong is kind of like I guess you call it a seafood stew kind of thing. Usually there's all sorts of different kinds of seafood, and it's usually spicy. Usually has a deep, rich red broth. This is really hot stuff. However, to kind of give you an idea of what's coming, I think this was number 4 on the top 10 list last year, and right now it's sitting there at number 7. So yeah, it's hot, that's for sure, but now there's even hotter. Number 6 on the top 10 is My Koali with their Penang white curry noodle with the new improved recipe. This one they added a lot of garlic, and it seems a lot hotter than it did last year. I think last year it was on the list at either 7 or 8. I know initially it was at number 7, and that caused a big to-do over in Malaysia. It was the first time anything from Malaysia had been on a top 10 list. So, but it's a lot hotter now. I made some for a friend of mine who loves their white curry, and he was like, ooh, now it's way hotter. So, number 5. All right, we're in the top 5 already. Now this one, yeah, number 5 is Ching's Secret Hot Garlic Instant Noodles from India. So this is the first time India's ever been on a top 10 list. So when you look at the package, it's kind of innocuous. You don't really think, it's going to be hot garlic. We'll see. I honestly thought that it was going to be kind of like maybe a buttery kind of thing with maybe a tiny pinch of chili powder. Probably calling it hot garlic was like, yeah, right, this isn't going to be hot. Because a lot of instant noodles will say hot, spicy, and they're just not, you know. This one is. This one had just the angriest, fieriest heat from garlic. And it just builds and builds and builds. And it just won't get off your tongue, man. I mean, your lips are burning, your mouth's burning. This was really a true endurance test for me on this one. And it's a dry noodle. It seems like these dry noodles, it's hard to explain, but dry noodles a lot of the time just really pack that heat into your taste buds so much quicker, I guess. I don't know, but anyways, yeah, congratulations to India. First time on the any of my lists. So hot and spicy, doing it right. All right, number 4, Paldo's Tumse Ramen from South Korea. This one, I guess there's a chain of restaurants in South Korea called Tumse, and they're well known, I guess, for their hot, spicy foods. This one is a barn burner. It does have a broth, but it's just like fire in a bowl. I don't know how else to describe it. It's freaking hot. It has thick ramen noodles, kind of the beefy, standard kind of South Korean ramen thing. If you're looking for a hot, spicy Korean ramen, this will do you. Yeah, and you should be able to find it here in the U.S. no problem. Amazon, or just find a local. Hopefully you have Asian groceries nearby, especially if you can find a South Korean Asian grocery. You'll find it, no sweat, or they can get it for you. All right, number 3, the ever popular Samyang Foods Buldak Bokumyeon from South Korea. This is the spicy fried chicken one, the picture with the chicken that has like the X's over its eyes and it's like breathing fire and it's angry. This is one you'll see in the bowl that people do YouTube challenges with, and it's freaking hot. This is another stir noodle. You do it up kind of like you would make mee goreng, and just all that heat from the sauce sachet just totally coats the noodles, and it'll blow your mind. And it's funny to watch people try to eat it really quick. Yeah, there's hotter, but this one apparently is accessible enough and just seems to really lend itself to doing challenges. So anyways, yeah, I know you can get the pack version pretty much anywhere now, so at least in Asian grocery stores. All right, which leads us to number 2, Paldo Bulnak Bokumyeon, spicy fried octopus ramen from South Korea. This one's even hotter than the fried chicken. Okay, so this one, you got a happy, smiling octopus on the package, and you've got a stir noodle with a sauce. This sauce is violent. This is like, if you make this stuff and you don't want to rub your eyes after handling this stuff, you rub your eyes and you got any of it on them, you're gonna be hating life because your eyes are going to burn like no other. So I've seen this one in South Korean grocery stores around here a few times, usually in pack form. It seems like bowl versions of South Korean stuff are available, but they're much further and fewer between than like 5 packs of pack versions. So, all right, which leads us to number 1, a variety you can't buy in the U.S. unless you go online and find it somewhere. Emart's Dairyu Habanero Ramen from South Korea. So I got an email from Emart, which basically is like a big grocery store chain in South Korea. They're like, hey, you got to try this. You got to try our new Dairyu Habanero Ramen. And this was a few years ago. I was like, okay. It's got a little person on the packaging screaming, looking all freaked out and unhappy. Like, that makes me want to eat it. Yeah. And I tried it and I was just like, I can't eat this. It is so freaking hot. It's definitely challenge material. I would say that if you want to really do something to one up that other one that I had earlier on this list, I've used that for the challenge. If you can get it, you know, but if you can get this E-Mart one, it'll blow your mind. It is the hottest instant noodle I've ever had. I've had over 1,700 different ones, and it's been the number one, I think, now for what, 3 years, 4 years? It's crazy. It's almost like a novelty because I don't think there's anybody that's like, oh yeah, that's my favorite instant noodle I've ever had. I eat that every day. It's like, oh, I don't know. If you're out there, I salute you big time. But I don't know. That's. I'm thinking it's iffy that there's that guy out there, but you never know. It's possible. Anyways, so there is the top 10 spicy list. One thing I want to touch on before I go is the fact that some of these, you know, the bulk of them are from South Korea. But one thing is the fact that they will actually have printed on them blah, 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 SHU. That's a number. So like 8,000 SHU, 5,000 SHU, 10,000 SHU. SHU are called abbreviation for the Scoville heat unit. Now, the Scoville heat unit is a way of measuring how spicy something is. And it's an absolutely BS way of, you know, saying how spicy something is. For example, there are ones on this list that say that they're more spicy, and they're further back on my list that ones that say that they're less spicy, if that makes any sense. So it's like if you went by Scoville heat unit, my list would look totally jacked up. But I refuse to go by Scoville heat units just due to the fact that I know my own palate and I know what's spicy and I know what's less spicy. The whole Scoville heat unit thing basically goes with you have a person, you have the spicy thing, and then you have water, and you dilute it and you dilute it and you dilute it. And if you say diluted it 100 times, like 1 for 1, and then they couldn't taste the heat anymore, then you have 100 Scoville heat units. Well, when you've got stuff that says there's a 10,000 Scoville heat unit, or ones that say it's like 15 million Scoville heat units, it's like there's no way you could have people sitting there and doing that. So I think it's a big marketing scam. I think it's, you know, obviously if it's that hot, put millions after it. You know, it's like somebody's tried it and they probably just wanted to jump out of their skin. That's cool. But yeah, just the whole, there are nowadays, you know, I think the Scoville heat unit came out in like the 1910s or maybe slightly earlier. It was a good idea at the time, but now we have technology. We can measure actual amounts of ingredients that have spice in them and tell you, hey, this one has more than this one. So if you want to do that. But I can tell you on my word that this list is in the order as it should be, in my opinion. So with that, all right, so get out there, get yourself some hot spicy noodles, and there'll be more lists coming sooner or later. So, all right, rock and roll. Have a good one. Bye.